they're pretty, they're the last storm, but the highway, somebody shut it tight and it's like.
Ripped it right off.
Yeah, no. It's broken the top piece off, one of
We good to
the
go?
decorative brackets. It's like,
It's been great, let's like two of them on there, one at the top and one at the bottom there.
Alrighty. It is just after 6, so we will go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, agenda adjustments. I need to add a second executive session to the agenda this evening for 4056C. Any other agenda adjustments? Okay. Alrighty then. Moving on to approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on December 12th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve as read. Any discussion? Carol,
Yeah.
there's no discussion. All those in favor? Abstention?
No abstention.
Sean abstains.
It's all right, we might turn it down. We should all probably talk about, so we can be heard.
All right, on to new business. Old business, assistance request form.
I like that. Yeah, so I went ahead and I didn't do a whole lot of changes to the one that we had last year. I just added a couple of more income sources that somebody might possibly get. And so for other, I included some examples like child support, alimony, etc. So that we can count that as income. And for what other forms of assistance have they applied for? For example, LIHEAP, general assistance or anything like that, just to get a full capture of, you know, the need, because those funds are so limited.
Mhm.
So, but other than that, I didn't really make any changes. Maybe some formatting stuff.
Thoughts, discussion,
I think
addition?
it's adequate.
That's it, it's good.
Thanks. Well, and Diane, helped initiate this last year. So thank you, Diane, for passing it on to me. And I just add a couple more things. I make the motion that we go ahead with the approval of this form for the take its renewable money.
Motion
Second,
and second to use the form to help with the heating assistance money and any other assistance that we need. All those in favor? Okay. Check that off the list finally.
yes. I like those.
All right, Diane. Tiff.
I just wanted to start the conversation going around it, Tim, because the comprehensive plan committee is looking at all kinds of potential things for the town. Maybe it's a community center, maybe it's a retail strip somewhere, maybe it's, who knows, right, all kinds of different things. And TIP is a great, I believe it's a great tool for sheltering the increase in value of that land. So we took a strip of land that was 100,000 and now it's worth $1 million, because somebody put a lot of development stuff into it. The town loses money from state revenue sharing and our school taxes go up when our town valuation goes up. TIF shelters that value. The town still gets the taxes from the increased value, but then they have to decide in advance what they're going to do with it. So you can use that increased tax revenue to do things like water and sewer repairs, or even if you took out like rural development really cheap loans to do water sewer repairs, you can use that revenue to pay back those loans. But your school taxes don't go up and your revenue sharing doesn't go down as a result of that. But you have to know in advance what you want to do with the money, and you have to have a project in mind. And you have to start to put some costs around that. There's nothing, we don't have anything really in the queue right now, but I just want to raise that up as a conversation piece, so that as the comp plan is coming this year. And start talking about that. I would think that from the conversations we've had, that maybe sewer repairs and upgrades might be something in that list. So that's all, just a conversation starter, so it's on everybody's plate, think about it. Be happy to help with that. A while back, I took a TIF training that the state offered, like, how do you do that? How do you write a TIF application, all that kind of stuff? Because I thought it was interesting. So just FYI, that's all. And that's about it, public records, conversation. I'm sure people talk about it.
Any discussion?
My big concern would be manpower to keep the paperwork flowing in accurate, up to date, et cetera.
My discussion, if we gotta start addressing that sewer. Sooner than later.
Yes.
I went back and watched the movie that said, I was in Bangor taking classes, and
Can't hear you, Sean, I'm so sorry.
I went back and watched the meeting when I was in Bangor taking classes, and you guys had decided to buy some turnout gear for the fire department. And just second hand thought there, it would have been nice to buy an inflow meter for that sewer department, because we get to start addressing what's going in there
Dave
agree.
is going to talk to Randy though.
to address
Yeah.
the rates and charge.
Yep.
Yep.
I spoke to Aaron Gaylord again today, this main rural waters guy. She's doing asset management plan down there to see what that sewer department's gonna need in the next 10 to 15, 20 years. For investment there. And he's all on board with that. I spoke to him and Bangor there. So he'll be either, if you guys want him to come to a presentation here, when he starts that plan, he's more than willing to do that. It won't be till the end of the month. Wife just had a baby. Monday, I believe, so. Once his homeland comes down, as long as you want to go, come to a presentation.
That's 18 years from now.
But that's where we are on doing that asset management. The sewer part.
I did speak to Dave about, he's gonna reach out to Randy about the inflow. The problem is, it's not a problem, it's just. That's gonna be a springtime project.
Yep.
But we're gonna at least get ballpark figures on cost on it, so.
But that just ties into your deal.
Any other thoughts or? All right, moving on to subdivision update.
Now, at this point, because I am an abutting landowner to this conversation, I am gonna recuse myself and go sit out.
Sean, yeah, Sean, wow, Tom. Sorry, I'm fried, been a busy couple days.
Yes, are we going to decide? Avcog pay that membership fee?
Hang on, we're gonna do subdivision first.
Oh,
Subdivision's the first one.
I'm sorry.
Yep, nope, my bad. Tom, go for it.
Oh, Sean.
That's right. So at our last planning board meeting, we did vote to approve the submission of the subdivision plan. So now it goes on to the selectmen to review it and sign off on it. So there was some changes that were made to the original plan that we took into effect, which was putting up, making sure that there was view restricting vegetation along the right-hand side of the property. And then making sure that there was like no idle zone signs put up in the parking lot.
I have one question about the no idle zone. What are they supposed to do in the winter time when you have to, your windshield's out? I mean,
I know, it's, one of the concerns was, you know, if you have every vehicle in there running all at once, like, it's gonna cause noise pollution, all sound, smells. So I raised my hand and said, look, you shop at Lane Wellahan, they have no idle zones down there. If we put this in there, this may help to alleviate some of that. So, or no excessive idling. But no, I understand. It's no different than if you go down to the Big Apple.
exactly. Okay,
Everyone's down there, has their cars are running,
this time of year.
waiting in
it's-
line for Dunkin'.
It's gonna happen.
So- Yeah,
Mhm.
but we did move forward to vote on it and approve the. That was the
Yeah, the finals in
the
that.
final plan, which you guys have.
Yep.
Is up to 8 units, we still don't know for sure. If it's gonna be affordable housing, is it gonna be market rate housing, should it be or not? Still don't know. Is it kind of most?
Question out of the box here. Why is hers considered a subdivision versus the post office? Adding apartments to that, what's the difference between that?
I think there were already apartments above the post office, or there were a while ago.
There wasn't.
Um,
Until Donnie Hutchins went and added apartments to that.
Yeah,
Okay, I wanna say it's because it's gonna be because you're doing dwelling units on it. And she's separating that 1 acre parcel out, it then becomes a subdivision.
so if you hadn't been separated,
No, the subdivision ordinance says if you're adding housing units,
Thanks, Aaron.
you need to have a subdivision permit. Now, the state, I think, has since sent out some new incentives or new proposed changes to subdivision ordinances. Because they're trying to encourage housing, so they're saying, oh, you wanna put an in-law suite on your house, you don't have to subdivide to do that, you don't, if you're having a apartment over garage, you might not have. to.
yeah,
Right, so they're trying to give you some leeway to do that, but this was adding more than one dwelling unit. But that just became a house. One person, one
Right.
house, it would not require a separate.
So can you have an apartment in your basement and an apartment above your garage, so no
I
subdivision?
don't know, I just get some changes.
From what I understand, because I did look into the new changes on the state level is you can add up to 3 accessory dwelling units. So, yeah, you can have an apartment in your basement, an apartment above your garage and not subdivide.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But the code enforcement officer also has reviewed all those plans and he signed them on it.
Okay.
If you choose to do that, you physically have to sign the bottom.
fine.
I watched the meeting, I wasn't able to attend, I was out of town. You mentioned during the meeting, somebody asked about the capacity of the sewage. On the, I presume they meant the pipes,
Yeah,
and you said, yeah, there's no problem, did the engineer look at those as well?
When we talked to the, yes, we looked at the existing, we were told how big the current pipes are, and so we would certainly have to put a booster because we below road grade. To pump the sewage like up to those lines, but they said the lines, we have no problem.
the town line.
That's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
do you know what size they are?
I don't remember.
I guess I was worried about the capacity of that system, particularly when it gets to the bottom of Staples Hill and flattens out. And I don't, I'm not saying there is a problem, there isn't a problem, I just don't know, because I don't know what the size of it is.
Yeah, I think we told us.
It's an 8-inch line at the bottom of Staples Hill, and comes down over the hill, doesn't get pumped up over.
No.
I don't know
Sewer,
what you're asking.
as they say, sewage goes downhill.
Oh, sewer.
Yeah, sewer.
I didn't hear you say sewer.
Sewer goes downhill. So,
We have to add some.
I'm surprised she doesn't have to have a pump. This is.
Yeah,
is
no,
amazing.
she
does.
went. Yeah.
Well, you told us the other night.
No, I
you
said you did have to.
Yeah,
You said you didn't have to. have a
No,
pump
I
in
said
that
we
building.
do have to,
Yeah.
I said my current house does not need one, for
Right,
whatever reason, because of the way
So how do you not have to have a sewer pump in that building?
because I think there's gonna be enough flow to it.
Because I've had this
And
question,
that's lower than my house. too.
I've had this question with Larrabee's and Bob Dolls with several people on that hill. And none of it jives.
But setting
I-
aside what
as far as I
Diane
know,
has
we
to
don't
do to
have-
her personal property, I'm worried about the public infrastructure. If the stuff is here and it needs to go here, she'll put in a pump. If it doesn't, it's the other way around. That's a different decision, but the infrastructure within the road that we're responsible for is what concerns me.
Well, I'm not gonna get into it, because I have to pump on Lakeshore Drive and nobody else has. Because mine is in the basement, nobody
Yeah.
else is in the basement.
to the best of my knowledge,
Yeah.
the pipes that are part of the town sewer system are far from capacity,
Okay.
so. But no nicer way of saying that.
Well, that's, you said it perfectly well. So that was my one thing that came to mind, and then.
Yeah.
You can make your own decision whether or not you want to pump it, because you don't. But with the public line in the road,
Right.
and the only other thing was, parking numbers, parking lot size versus dwelling units.
I think we're budgeted for 12, or the engineer put in potentially 12 parking spaces for 8 units.
I saw that, but one of them's handicapped. So there's 11 units, right?
Right.
Or 11 parking spaces and 8 units.
Mhm.
So if you had the 8 units, I think guidance says 1.5 units, 1.5 spaces per unit. So 8 plus,
Maybe 12.
except for the handicap spot.
Boy, that's my unit. I think,
Right.
yeah, unit. I mean, the intent is to have one every unit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, thank you. If it changes, if the number of units change. Do you have the ability to not, I guess my concern frankly, I couldn't care less if you have a big enough parking lot, I'm concerned about parking in the street.
Well, that's right.
You have quite a lot of cars parked outside your house already.
We do. The hope is that, I mean, I would say they're all going to be off-street parking. There's a drawing in it that shows that.
Yeah, I saw that, but if you're changing, if you're playing around with the number of units, then it's not.
Well, they're not going over 8.
Okay, but if it changes to 4 2-bedroom units, then the rule of thumb is 2.5 spaces per unit.
Right, so that's,
That's, I think,
6.
also good, yeah. So it's really, without having a final answer on how many units and how many bedrooms each unit is, I think it's difficult to budget the number of parking spaces,
it would only go down from 12.
but the bedrooms too.
But if you make 2 bedrooms, but fewer units. It's the math is the same way, right? So if you make 4 2-bedroom units, you're still only looking at 8 units, or 8 parking lots, or 6 parking spots.
6, right?
So 12 is kind of the maximum. But I think they were leaving a little bit of extra room there for like being able to move cars and be plowed, you know, maneuver a
Mhm.
little bit as well.
Do you have an engineering report or no?
Mainland did a drawing that's in
Just
there.
a plan?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, additional, like, the actual construction engineering, would have to be done afterwards, the next step.
the detailed engineer.
Other questions, discussion points?
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
So you was gonna go for 5 or 8 units, right? Single bedroom.
We're permitted for up to 8 single-bedroom units.
So but now, did I understand it right, that if she went
To 4, what if you went to 4 2-bedroom units?
on, yeah, but didn't you just say you could have 6 2-bedroom?
No, that's
No.
parking space.
Parking spaces.
That's parking spaces. If you had 4 2-bedroom units, you would need 6 parking spaces. 1.5 parking
So the
spaces.
most, if you go 2-bedroom, the most you're gonna have is 4 bedrooms, 4 units. Is that correct?
I don't know. We're never gonna go above 8 units.
What, 2-bedroom units?
No, 8 single-bedroom units is what
I
we're,
just asked you, if you go 2-bedroom units, the most you're gonna have is 4 bedrooms. Because you're only gonna have, how many parking places?
No, you would have
4 units. you mean.
4 units,
I know 4 units.
You said 4 bedrooms.
but that would be,
But for 2 bedroom units,
so that would be
if she
8
has 2
bedrooms.
bedrooms and 4 units.
That's 8 bedrooms.
That's right.
So living bedrooms, right?
So what's the question?
I don't even know.
Because I'm wondering if you're gonna have a dozen people in there. Because originally you said you're gonna go 5 or 8 bedrooms with single beds.
We're up to 8 single bed units, 12 parking places.
But I don't want, my question, Diane, is I don't want you to go put 8 units in there with 2 beds in each unit.
No, there's never, you can't. It's
So,
not gonna be 8 units with 2 bedrooms in each unit. That's not
so
gonna
if you
happen.
go 2 bedrooms in a unit, how many units you gonna put in there?
It depends on how you lay them out.
So you're not gonna answer me.
I don't know the answer. I mean, we have lots of different configurations that are potential, but the most
What's the
number of
most
12
people?
units is 8,
What's the most people you're gonna have in there?
16. Moved into every single 1 bedroom unit, we'd have 16 people.
So this is new news to Staples Hill residents. It is.
8 single bedroom units, that's it. But if you happen to be,
You just said you're gonna put 16 people
no, I
in there.
said if a couple moved into a single bedroom unit,
Husband and wife.
Right.
you could potentially have 16 people.
I think, okay, I'll explain it to some people that have been asking me.
Well, have them call me an SB.
No, I'm
Happy-
gonna explain it to them,
Why,
because you
Okay.
just said you could have 16 people in there.
potentially,
And they're not looking at that like that. They're looking at like I just asked you.
8 1 bedroom units.
So you can have 16 people with how many parking places?
12. It's up to.
Thank you. I'm good.
Other thoughts or questions? Okay, so I've looked through it and talked to the planning board. It meets the subdivision ordinance requirements. So I'm good with moving forward with it. If I can get a motion from the board, one way or the other.
I make a motion to approve it.
I have a motion to approve. I'll second the motion. I have a motion and a second to approve the subdivision plan for Staples Hill. Any other discussion?
Clarification, that we're not
Yeah.
approving, we're agreeing with the with the planning boards.
We're signing off on the planning
Yeah.
board's approval.
Right.
Correct, yeah. All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, and we can sign off. You want to sign off on that sheet or the ones in the folder or?
Are those all the same?
They are.
Okay,
Why is that now?
because she's not letting me know.
Yeah.
No,
It's not bad now that I shut that off. I think you'll find that's froze. That's why it's blowing over there.
Oh, probably it is.
They went in my server and the DPS froze the other day too. And I had to shut it off. You're right. Holy geez, I'm small lines.
Say it's 1 million too.
Sorry, I should have done it in black.
Oh, I don't have black.
But turn it back up.
Yes, please, thank you.
Is it off?
Yeah, they're up top, freezing like air conditioning,
Why?
down my neck and.
Uh-huh.
I think you'll find that.
Actually, this is blue too.
You can feel
That's
That's good.
That's a couple of our work froze the other day too. Yeah, and then you wait till the sun comes back out and they'll be fine again, but it's too cold for them.
Oh, we might hit freezing spots.
Well, 1 day break. All right, on to AvCog, Sean.
This Sean.
Yes, that's Sean.
Move forward with that ad hoc plan. We need to be a member, like you suggested.
Yep.
That's where we are on that.
Well, unfortunately, that was cut out of the budget this last year. So we will have to find a place for that either
much
to
is
come
it?
out of.
I don't even remember how much.
24.
I didn't print it, but it's 2,200 roughly.
Yeah, and so I thought it was like 22, 3 or 24.
It was $2,053.40.
2053,
43.
43, is that what you said?
2053.40. 2053.40.
40, thank you.
And Sean, you're advocating for this because
Because there's a pretty good plan moving forward, if not if, when we get a nonprofit to take it over, that it can be done completely through AvCog and VA.
I don't understand what can be there.
Torn down,
The school,
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
tear school down, right to seating it over. And then just as soon as it's torn down, and I've got a letter of the water district, I can give you guys next week. It'll be given back to the town and the town. But it's gonna be done. From that point on, it's back in the town's hands, and Michelle had followed me the, I think it's called stage 1 site, is that right?
yeah,
Yes,
Sounds right.
Michelle,
yes.
and they have to do another walk in.
They warned us the first time if it was, depending on if it got transferred to a nonprofit, they would have to start over.
yeah, they did.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not that I agree, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's anything with the government doesn't make sense to me, but that's,
Well, their explanation was they had to do it after it transferred hands as the new owner because the new owner adopted it.
that's correct. That's what they told me, should have done before the town, should have been done before the town got it back from the nonprofit, they got it before.
Correct, that's what they told us initially, yes.
We got it from the school, because it never,
They claim whoever the Colby Davis group was
They-
was nonprofit.
they were. but
They were, but the problem was the deed never got transferred from SAD 21 to that group. So then when SAD 21 turned into RSU 10, it stayed with 10. When 10 and 50, when 10 split up to be 10 and 56, 56 had the deed and turned it back over to
Yeah.
the town of Canton at that time. So technically, the Colby Davis group never held the deed for that property.
2017, so we got it back.
That's,
That was the,
That's the
Issue.
conundrum.
Yes.
but so just as soon as that's done and the way she thought it's gonna be done, sooner than later. It's turned right back to the town. To do. Whatever you guys want. Biggest thing is. Like Brian had suggested, when we talked about it before, he didn't think that they would do it unless we're a member. And yes, we have to be. a member.
is there anything in that they've either given or I guess my one request before we do anything is I'd like it in writing. Is the time period on how long the nonprofit has to hold it before they can turn it back to the
The
town.
nonprofit has to hold it until it's down and its foundation
Right.
filled in, then immediately it's coming back, because no nonprofit wants to hold it.
Right, but I'd like it in writing from AvCog or the Brownfield people before we even start saying, you know, as of date of completion, then it can be turned back, because my
Absolutely,
big concern is transferring something. And then saying, oh yeah, you can turn it back afterwards, and then you get, 3 months into it and they say, yeah, it's all clean and capped over, but now the nonprofit has to hold it for. However long, that would be my concern is,
and I verified that, but it's all gonna be done legally.
oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah. no,
Yeah, and I've got the letter saying that it can be transferred right back to
Mhm.
the town up there.
Yeah.
We need more than that, just that saying, yeah, I can transfer
Yeah.
that. 100%, I agree.
Yeah. There's too many loopholes that,
No, that's definitely gotta be done, but they won't do anything right now until they claim they sent a letter to the town.
they sent one a while ago asking if we were gonna pay, and we said it wasn't in the budget, so.
And Kathy couldn't find it. Between the changes, like,
I've seen it, was it
We had,
Send it to,
didn't we have?
we had it at a meeting one night.
Yeah.
God, it's been a while now.
Did we have it during the budget season?
No, it was after that. Yeah, it was after that.
Just moving forward with this stuff, if we can make stuff work.
I think the hard part is where are we gonna find $2,000?
Community benefit, I got an update thing, I probably got what's out, you got right there?
No, I don't have that one. I have a different one. I have the expense sheet.
What is that community benefit, is that the wind tower?
Yes.
Take it out of, I go cemetery.
You get out your high. I think your select's paying to come back.
Go ahead.
Just kidding. I suppose if we looked at it from the potential benefit of, I hate to say benefit of getting rid of the building, but it is. We could slide that out of there.
Safety concerns?
Yes, exactly.
My only concern is then at this point, we are talking about funding something the town voted not to fund at town meeting. I'm not saying I'm leaning one way or another. I'm just saying if we,
Vote not to fund it, we didn't even have it on the warrant, so it wasn't that it was a no vote, there was no vote.
it was on the warrant with a $0 budget, with a zero number next to it.
You sure?
We should look at it, but it should have been because, well, no, because it's under memberships.
Right.
It would have just shown as a membership.
Yeah, I don't.
Is there any reason we can't wait till June to, we have town meeting in June, right?
Correct.
Can't wait till June to have this discussion. It's only 6 months away and it's gonna be hot and fast.
We're gonna talk budget here in a few minutes, so.
I would recommend putting it off, but. Are we gonna buy salt through them?
We've been,
We haven't bought salt from them for a number of
we've
years.
got better deals elsewhere.
We're paying 80, we're paying a lot of salt.
Up until, or up to including the last year when we were a member of AgCog, it was still cheaper to go through the state bid versus the AgCog. Because every year we check it all, check.
We'll find out tomorrow how much it is to have salt.
Yeah, well, like I say, Andy's checked it every year and it's been cheaper. Andy and Paul are both from them.
He bought it.
Comparison.
He did a $1,900 credit. For
Yeah, well,
Easton salt,
That's because E3 bought.
right.
Right.
he had a $1,900 credit,
Mhm.
it's even only salt. No salt,
Yeah, well.
$2,800.
But it's a credit, so.
That's what I'm saying. He had a credit. I'll call tomorrow and find out what he's going for. But yeah, that's,
So I guess my question is, what is where it wasn't a line item at town meeting, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't voted on, period, because it wasn't a
Correct.
line item.
Mhm.
So we wouldn't be going against a town vote. And if it did come out of the community benefit fund, which seems like a logical place for it to come out of right now, because we are looking at a safety hazard. And potential pollution hazard if it starts to collapse and we have runoff issues, et cetera. I mean, that's just my thought.
So in the past, we have not spent money out of that account without a board vote. So if it's something that the board wanted to do,
Right.
we would have to do a motion.
But I was just explaining.
Mhm.
Why I thought that might be an option.
Yep.
I make a motion that we take the money to pay for the AvCog membership from the community benefit fund.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second to take $2,053.40 out of community benefit to fund the AvCog membership. Discussion,
Seconded.
Sean?
Maybe I missed a meeting, it's probably more likely than not that I missed a meeting, but I don't understand precisely what the plan is. So. Before moving forward, I think it would be really helpful to have an idea of what the plan is. So I understand taking money here and paying fine, so that's the only thing we're talking about, but if we're only paying the AvCog fees because we want them to do something. I'd like to know what the plan is to get that done.
And I guess my thing would be, I guess I would need to learn more about. If we're going to turn it over to a nonprofit, who is the nonprofit? And what are the plans, because
Well,
I have a lot of questions and concerns about how that will all work and. Some of the fine details around that property and the coverage and
As
things.
you know, you guys know more about Christie's legwork. She did on this for 2 years.
Yep.
And she couldn't get the nonprofit to take it over.
Mhm.
So.
I'm
you
not sure
guys-
that she talked to a nonprofit about it, but
Well, because at that point, we said no,
Yeah.
because we didn't know of what you had just said about. Having it, writing and turning it,
Turn it back.
right,
that was where it was left.
Christie has talked to the same people I've talked.
Right.
Mhm.
to. Because this email's going back between them,
Oh, yeah.
and shall I, but
I have them too somewhere.
you all have. them. And we spoke about this with me picking up on that project she got done. but Getting it down, it's liability down,
Mhm.
big time. So I gotta search around and make sure 100% that. If the historical society won't take it, you suggested they probably wouldn't. The church won't take it, and the water district will take it if they have to. But it's gotta be turned back to the town just the minute that foundation's filled in. This has all been discussed with that.
Mhm.
Because it's a liability,
Mhm.
it's long.
so that's where we're at on that.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is got to be a member, and this is gonna be a $500,000 project, it's no cost to anyone.
So I guess, Sean, that's what I'd like to see written out.
Exactly,
Mhm.
but we can't move forward until the town is a member of
Right,
AdCom.
that's
And
right.
Brian brought this up when we first discussed this. He says, I'll bet they won't do anything unless we're a member. I didn't realize they weren't a member.
Well,
Yep.
my thing is, I agree that the school needs to be taken care of and it's a safety issue, and this is something that I've wanted to see happen for a long time too. My concern is every time I've brought up or asked about the community benefit fund for things, my impression's always been that the towns needed to vote on that. Or have some kind of say, in the spending of that money, because it's for. And I'm not saying this isn't a community benefit, because it absolutely is. But I am not the whole town.
So up until now, the things. I would say 98 or so percent of the things that we've approved, that the board has approved out of. The benefit fund have been things related to or directly on the what do we call
On the
it?
warrant,
Fact finding night? What do we
Oh,
call it?
yeah.
Brainstorming night.
Kristen,
That we had back in
Yeah.
2017. We spent a wonderful evening here with a whole bunch of sticky notes that were colored in different
all over the.
various things and spread across the walls and the whiteboard.
Right.
Of things that people wanted or liked from. Then, now, and future, I think is the way it was. Wants and desires of different things that the windmill money could go towards. And so far, the things that we picked off the list were, like I say, either directly related to or on those sticky notes.
And I know that the town has used, voted to use some of that money to offset taxes in the past too.
Yep, couple times.
But the town has decided how to spend that,
No.
like,
No,
The board votes on how to spend
Right.
that money. The town recommends, the board votes, is how it's been done so far.
the town didn't have a say in if they use that money to offset taxes?
Correct, vote.
That has to be done, that was done,
The town did not?
I don't think so,
no,
not the first time.
Okay,
I don't believe they voted on the money coming out of the community benefit fund now. They voted on out of
Using money
the
to offset
undesignated fund balance.
Undesignated.
They do, yes.
yes.
But to use out of the benefit fund to offset taxes with the board vote.
okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up. It's still as clear as mud, but. a little
We have
clearer.
received input from the town on various ideas, and actually the school was one of the
Mhm.
concerns
School
during that
taxes.
visiting session. And that has been our primary guidelines for making our votes on how to spend the community benefit fund. So,
What's this fund balance? $30,000. And there's an unknown
Which-
balance, 43.
Fund balance, I don't know without actually digging in and seeing what fund it goes to.
Up top, there's an account of 500 that says fund balance.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what those are. I'm not sure, that printout, I'm not sure.
Maybe we should, well, this is the same printout that Tricia gave us back
Mhm.
in October.
Right,
Bad because of a while ago, either yesterday or today,
Mhm.
updated it. I'd like to know what these accounts are. And if we can table this till next meeting. I could call, Wayne and add, but I don't know what happened.
yep,
We need to know what these accounts are.
I agree.
Yeah, $100,000, they're making that just a thought.
So my recommendation is we wait until next meeting when our treasurer is here.
Yeah,
And we'll have more discussion on that later this evening.
that's good.
And if like that, in between now and then, if AvCog could give us something in writing saying like, there is no. Holding period or whatever, like you worded it way better. About like the transfer of the property, that would,
Transfer of ownership.
yeah, that would be
Mhm.
good too. So we have it in writing.
Agreed, yes, but in addition to just the transfer of ownership, what's the different phases of, how is this gonna happen?
there's
One, we
And
transfer
time
ownership,
periods.
is there a list?
there's
Is there
a
time period,
huge,
something?
we have got packets of stuff from previous
Okay,
work that's been done.
There's three
I
phases,
think all we,
that much.
all
I
we
know.
have in, all we have for documents though is just the testing materials. We
Right.
don't have anything in terms of this is the process to go through the cleanup. We don't have anything like that.
No,
To me, that would be something I'd like to see at some point in this is, okay, here is the entire, this is the layout of, say, this is the project we're gonna do. You have to do steps 1, 2, and 3. Step 1 involves the testing. Step 2 involves this. Step 3 is transfer, or step 1, I guess, would be transfer of ownership. But that, I guess to me, that would be something I'd like to see is not
Step
just
one
the
is-
testing
Is
detail.
joining the app.
I was gonna say, we're
Right,
not gonna get any of that.
like I
I
said,
already said
At
that.
some point, I need to see more on the entire process, not just. It's gonna be cleaned up and taken care of.
Step 1 is joining that call. Then step 2 is gonna be doing another site 1 evaluation.
But you can't do that until it's transferred.
That's right.
So that's not step 2. Step
We-
2 would be
Step two is
transfer.
A dead horse here,
so
We're beating a dead horse because I'll get as much as she'll give me in writing, but she's not gonna invest time and money if we're not even a member. You said that yourself, Brian.
I understand. And right now, we have a motion and a second on the floor. If you guys wanna pull it to a vote,
I
already
amend my
we have a
motion,
motion and a second.
can I amend my motion that we are tabling this until our next meeting in 2 weeks, when we hopefully have more
If you're
info?
tabling it, all you need to do is rescind your
I
motion.
rescind my motion completely, so.
And we're all good with that, but just like. I can't get a book full of documents without us joining them.
well, I'm not looking for a book full of documents, I just wanna know what the process is.
Um,
And it sounds like maybe there's different pieces of it scattered about, I've never seen any of those pieces.
she could email stage 1 site.
Yeah, we
You-
can, we can do that.
You can see the stage one site, it's probably 50 pages long.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Where they've gone down and evaluated the lead paint on the outside, the
I
mold.
guess I'm not questioning if there's bad stuff in the building, I just don't understand how you get from today funding Avcog to having it grassed and seeded over.
This is all in stage one site. You're gonna see the stage one site says they're gonna seed, loam and seed it right down to that point. That's what's in that stage one site, but they haven't said that. March first, they're gonna go down and then tear it down. You know, right, June first, it's gonna be ready to get back. You can look it over, Christine. That's your thing, details.
So to answer your question before we move on, when Christy was doing, originally spearheading the project, she was told that there were 3 phases to it. All we got through was phase 1, where they came and did the site visit, or, you know, part of phase 1. I don't even think we finished phase 1. Where they came and did the site visit and found out like what they were actually dealing with. What was in the building, what kind of materials were. There were 2 other phases after that. I don't quite remember the details of it, but I will go through my emails and search whatever I have on the school stuff, and I'll forward it to the entire board all over again. I know you got it, Brian, but you're gonna get it again, so it's fine.
I don't want it again, so. I'll send it to you.
I've got it somewhere, just a question finding it.
I'll send it.
Thank you.
I don't think it fully describes all the phases though, but my recollection was there were 3 phases to the grant project of tearing the building down and, you know, filling it in so that it was just flat land.
So the reason that we stopped it is because at that point Brownfield was involved. And then when it became apparent that, oh, it's owned by the municipality, Brownfield won't touch it. And we were kind of at a standstill as to not knowing how to get around that.
And the reason
So-
why Brownfield wouldn't touch it, because we owned it, is because the site visit that they had done was not completed prior to the deed being transferred over to the town of Canton. So if that would have happened, then we would be able to skip the whole transferring the property over to a nonprofit, because now they're inheriting something that the grant funding will then take care of. And all of that. So it's red tape.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what they've told me is. Adcock would not pay for the complete project. Now that a nonprofit will own it, EPA will come in and pick up what Adcock won't pay for if a nonprofit owns it.
See, we didn't-
That's why I didn't want to get involved in it unless it was a complete project that was done right now, it's being seeded. There's no sense in just going and take the asbestos out of it, the mold out of it. Now they determine there's lead paint on it, it's lead paint 50 feet around it, so that fence has to be put around it, just soon as it, nonprofit takes it over, snow can get within 50 feet of it.
Okay,
So that's how it's gonna go down.
so I just trying to understand, besides this ad hoc payment. What else is gonna be required from the town along the way? Will this be matching? Will this be funded and then reimbursed?
Not at all.
How can town be stuck with the bill one way or the other?
Right.
Will we move forward and find there's some other unanticipated loophole over here? That's why I'm trying to figure out what the plan is.
And I agree with you 100%.
Those are great
That's-
questions.
Nobody can be stuck with any bill on this, especially the nonprofit. The town can't be stuck with any bill. Like, that's why it has to be, the town would have been left over with an empty building down there with no contamination in it if you had Adcock there. But once you get EPA involved with it, with all the contaminants in it, they'll get rid of the whole thing right now. It says this in that stage one site that she's gonna send you,
Okay,
that,
so Michelle's gonna send me that. It's gonna have all the information and there's no point in discussing this and wasting any more
That's
time
right,
here.
not gonna have all the information, but you're gonna see where it's gonna be seeded over down.
if you have other bits of information, can you send them to me?
I'm gonna have
Thank you.
the information from Amy at AvCog that says just as soon as that's completely gravelled in, loaned over, seeded, the nonprofits getting rid of it back to the town. Because the nonprofit doesn't want this. The only reason nonprofit is taking it to benefit the town of Canton, liability. If somebody gets hurt in there, or a firefighter gets killed some night trying to put that out, guess who that's on? Town of Canton.
And I think the other thing is too, that we have to figure into the process. I'm not sure that the Board of Selectmen has the authority to turn that over to a nonprofit. I'm pretty sure that has to be done by a townwide vote. It's transferring a piece of property, so I believe that has to be done by an actual town vote, but I will have to. That's a legal question that I don't know,
Well,
because the last time that had to happen, before it could get transferred, the town had to vote to transfer it.
this is all stuff we'll call that we get to do that. We just tabled this, so let's move on to see.
I second that.
Vote on the paper, or-
Nope, there is no vote. All right, on to FMLA.
The state has, I guess, implemented past, FMLA. That every employer in the state who has. Well, it depends on if you have 15 or less or 15 or more employees. You're either paying 1% of the wages or 0.5% of the wages. We're still learning about it. I think we've narrowed down that we technically fall under the under 15. So unfortunately, the employees will have to pay 0.5%. And that will go into a fund that we will pay out quarterly. Still working our way through that, but that is something that's gonna be coming up, so we'll have to work out the details, especially if we come to find out that we technically have more than 15 employees. We're under the understanding right now that like the board is not an employee. It's a very,
How can we, if we are receiving paychecks, even if it's in the form of a stipend, how are we not employees and how are the fire department?
because they're calling it, if you are paid a nominal fee.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. Aaron did some research as to come up with what was a nominal fee. If you read there's a lot of FAQs. And we've narrowed it down that it's being paid out, like, if you're paid over a 20-week period, which you guys are not, you're paid maybe 4 times a year.
Right.
So am I explaining this right,
It's-
Aaron?
It's supposed to be if you're paid. I think 20 pay periods in a year's time. You're counted as an employee, so like our seasonal help would count as an employee,
Okay,
things to that nature. But everything contradicts everything else in
Shocker.
all of that paperwork, so,
Okay.
yeah.
This sentence literally contradicts
Yeah.
the next sentence, so we're working our way through it, but. I mean, we're required by law to do it
Right.
until they repeal it, and you know, the minute that we. Create the account and do all the things, then. I did it today for.
we have.
Set the portal up.
Ask Aaron, ask
Hold on a second, I'm trying to log in, because I got all this information right here. They sent me, I reached out to MMA and they sent me a bunch of frequently asked questions. And there's a bunch of information on the website that he sent me. Yep. But if we have 15 or, I can't remember, it's 15 or less than 15 employees. Well, let's put it this way, one way or the other. 0.5% is due. If we have more than 15 employees, the town has to pay.
Correct.
0.5%.
The other half.
And the employees have to pay 0.5%.
Yes.
The town could opt to pay, if we're small enough. The 0.5% and not make the employees pay it.
Yes.
But we have to sign up for an account, I think it's by the 31st. That's what I'm checking right here, if you'll bear with me. Yeah, it's sometime within the first quarter, but yes, the portal just went live yesterday, day before,
I think it was
yesterday.
So it went live yesterday, and we signed it by the 31st.
Let me double check, I've got it right here,
yeah, something about right.
so.
But nobody is clear on the ambiguous.
Yes,
Well,
it's very.
It gets better. You can't actually take any of the money until next year, so.
Right.
we're not paying a year in advance.
Right, you're paying it in.
Also, the new dog licensing thing.
Yes, it doesn't even go into effect until May of 26, not even January, May of 26. Okay.
So here's a stupid question. So if we start collecting this money, but we can't do anything about it until May, and then it gets repealed, what happens with that pot of money that we? But
That
We're not
hasn't,
collecting
that hasn't
the
been
money.
addressed yet.
We're not collecting the money.
Well,
We're paying it to the state.
so they're gonna, never mind,
Yes.
that answers that.
We pay it in quarterly, so we're gonna have,
Yeah,
just like when we collect dog fees, it goes into an account.
Oh, I'm not on the internet here. Sorry.
So, but I just wanted to give a heads up as to, where we're at.
and to borrow Michelle's phrase, all as clear as mud.
We're from the state, we're here to help.
Network security team
What?
for Canton Public.
Canton TO, all
Yes.
lowercase, Canton TO.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure the signing up has to happen this month.
Oh, yes, it does, yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things that.
Yeah, you can.
And to do it, all I had to do was enter the FIN number for the company, the number of employees. I'm not even sure I had to do that. Online system, employee register, designate a payroll processor, filing wage reports.
Yeah, you have all the same stuff I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing the deadline right away. Benefits begin May 1 of 2026.
That's so they can create, so we have in 5 months.
Yep.
No, yeah, a year and 5 months.
A year and 5 months.
So, but I wanted to just give an FYI that, we're looking into it and trying to be on top of it.
All right. So Kathy's going on to setting the town meeting date, so we can get started on all the wonderful paperwork and fun that goes with it. Go for it, Kathy, what we talk about it.
It looks like, because we have to have so many days for nomination papers, so many days for them to be turned in, yada, yada. It looks like there is not a state election this year. However, there's always a school election. So I randomly picked June 10th, which I'm going to guess would be the typical
Yes.
second Tuesday of the month. If we go with the ballot election on the 10th, town meeting on the 12th. That I can backdate everything for nomination papers being available for people. They're actually available on Sunday, March 2nd. So I backdated that to February 28th. We technically could go forward, but why would we? Those would have to be turned in by April 11th. Then we could start doing absentee ballots by Friday, May 9th. Sign the warrant on the 22nd of May, post it 7 days before the meeting and have the election on the 10th. So, if that works. And I'm working on positions that are available. It looks like right now for the Board of Selectmen, Michelle and Sean's terms are up. Planning Board, it looks like Brad and Dawn's position would be a 2-year position. And then I don't think there's any other positions that are open, if I've looked into things. That sound right to the board?
So can you read those dates again? So papers would be available February 28th. They'd be due back
April 11th.
April 11th.
Absentee ballots would be available 30 days prior to the election, so May 9th. And the election would be June 10th. with the town meeting on Thursday, the 12th.
Thank you.
At 6:30.
6:30?
Yes,
We can't do 6.
no, it doesn't work well.
6 is too close to people coming back into town from work.
Okay.
We got
Obviously,
chewed
the
on that a
election
couple
is
years
8
ago.
to 8.
Oh, didn't we?
Yep, we caught big trouble on that a few years ago, so.
Yeah.
6.
6:30. That was a three.
Perfect. So that takes care of that. The other thing I'll throw out with that, can you guys put out a post for Citizen of the Year nominations?
Yes,
Because we will need to get that started ASAP in order to get the stuff in and
the clock
plaque
ordered.
made in time and all that. fun
Yeah, the
stuff.
last couple of years it's been,
How do you, what's a deadline for that? What, and how do you like them to come in?
they come into, I've had them sent to my email a few times, or just be left in the office and put in my mailbox, and then,
Okay. So they can either email them
yeah,
or drop them off?
Yeah.
But what do you want for a deadline?
that's what I was looking at calendar for, but it's not the same one we had, so.
No, that one was free.
Let's go the same deadline as papers.
April 11th?
Yeah,
Yeah, 4/11.
that should give
Yeah,
plenty of
that would-
time
yeah.
for us to look at it, the
Yeah.
last meeting in April, and then still get the,
Yeah.
give us a month to get the plaque taken care of. And
We can,
Keep that in.
we'll have to shorten the wording, but we'll get it on the sign too.
that would be great. Perfect. All right, next thing, budget committee. So we had a couple wonderful members of our budget committee last year. One of them's here tonight. Welcome. And then some other, yeah, people that joined us for the meeting, I don't know how you want to say it.
Riffraff.
So it's time that we look at, those are 1-year appointments, so it's time to look at reappointing those individuals if they're interested, as we've done in the past, or we can appoint new. But we need to get them appointed and officially moving, so we can, start meeting here in the next month.
So we have to replace you,
You are correct.
so that means, and that leaves you, Robin,
Jody.
Jody, was that?
That was it.
We had a 4-person.
Yeah,
'cause
so if we could
resigned.
find 2 budget committee members, I mean, I'm assuming, does Jody still wanna play?
Brian. would you
Brian
like
still
to
wants
go?
to play?
Nothing else to do.
Yeah. Nothing else, guys.
Retired guy, you got plenty of time.
Well, I have to check my schedule.
So,
Yep,
but we need to have them like ASAP,
You want that posted?
yes.
if you could, that'd be great.
And when are we looking at starting budget committee meetings?
I'll know more on that next week,
Okay.
but my goal was to start
Sooner-
already.
Yeah.
Sooner
So,
than last year.
Yeah, my goal was to already be going right now.
Yeah.
So, I would like to have them start, if at all possible, before the end of the month.
Yeah.
Cause I'd like them to review exactly where things are at now before they start talking about budgets
Mhm.
going forward for next year. Cause I think they should review where things are at on our current budget before they start looking into
Yeah.
where we're
So
going to go.
I'm looking past
Before the end of this month?
Yes,
So we're at the 9th.
it's a goal. I'm not very good at meeting them lately, so what the heck?
So we appoint the people on the 23rd. They could possibly work, Brian.
Yeah,
It's a possibility, I don't know.
yeah, we've done it on the fly.
It's a thought, if we could meet before the end of the year, great. I think last year we started
End of the
mid-February.
month.
You missed the end of the year.
Sorry.
Drag
Yeah.
We
Drag your feet last year.
Together before the end of the year.
It's been a long couple days, sorry. Yeah, like I say, last year, I think it was mid-February when we started.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it went quick.
Yeah.
It went.
and
I would,
I kind of like how we did it last year, scrunching more into a night instead of only doing 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
When we sat down, we actually got, yeah.
can I make a suggestion that we do one thing the same that we did 2 years ago, is they had
Yes, I agree.
all of the budget printouts
Oh, yeah.
prior to meetings.
Yeah.
Cause coming in blind to the
Oh,
budget
yeah.
meetings does not work
No, it
well.
doesn't. It's difficult to ask questions when you haven't seen something
Yes.
until you sit down,
Mhm.
so. Yep, nope, that makes sense to me.
Correct, and I'm not gonna be able to be here at the next meeting on the 23rd,
Okay.
so.
Alright, so we'll look at trying to reappoint everybody on the 23rd, and then also hope that we have 2 new volunteers that we can appoint. On to direct deposit for employees. Want to do that one, or want me to?
How about it?
So Kathy and I were chatting for Thursday last week.
Yeah, last week.
Whatever day it was last week, looking at, talking about some things in the office and stuff going on. And we're talking about payroll and things, and we still have a couple people who are taking paper checks. It would simplify things a lot in the office and make it a lot easier just to, we're at a point now where we can easily do direct deposit, so it kind of makes sense, like a lot of other businesses and, municipalities are doing, just saying, you know, as we move forward, we will be direct deposit with everybody. I just, she and I talked about it and agreed on it, but I wanted to bring it before the rest of the board that
I'm wondering,
everyone was okay with it before we went ahead and
does that apply to us
moved
as well?
forward. It applies to everybody.
Plus everybody.
Yep, stipends, election workers, it will apply to everybody.
I think I have one of my employees that is a paper check, right?
Yes, and he is, I had a conversation with
Right,
his other, and I said, can you mention it?
yeah,
And he's thinking about doing it anyway.
Okay.
So,
and I believe I have another part-time one
Yes,
who.
the very
So,
part-time.
I was gonna say, that's the
Yes.
thing, it's very, very part-time.
Yeah.
But I can mention it.
And that's not saying that there won't be an occasional, no, off the wall thing, oh,
Right.
so-and-so has to
Yeah.
have a paper check this week because of X.
Yep.
I mean, it's not saying that can't happen, it's just as a whole, on a normal scheduled payroll, trying to get everybody on direct deposit, just to make it easy for everybody and for us here in the office to kind of manage things and
it's a lot cleaner.
keep it rolling.
I can speak to the two I have.
In the state of Maine, an employer can require it. It's not that, you can't say people can't come back and say, no, you can't do that. It is, that I
Right.
checked into that, you are safe if you
Yeah.
want to
It
do
would
that.
be a whole lot nicer though if we approached and asked if they
Oh,
would be willing.
absolutely.
And we were there.
Absolutely.
The hard part is we were there a few years ago. We had everybody on
Right.
direct deposit. And then through changes in the office and people changing, we had to go back and then we just never came back to,
I've never been direct deposit.
and then it was before you
Oh,
came
it's
because we
nice.
were all direct deposit at one point.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it has been there once. I think we
Yeah.
can easily get back there again and just kind of try to make things easy, but just so everybody knows that was what was discussed and
Can you put that on future applications, so you have all that information when they get hired?
there's actually a form that, and I can, if you don't have one, I can share one with you. It's just a simple direct deposit
Yeah.
sign up form, okay?
I also created a direct deposit, if you wanna change your direct deposit,
If you wanna what?
change it.
Oh,
I wanna see this is just me being me, I wanna see a signature.
And it needs to be verified by a second. My recommendation is it's verified by a second communication. If it comes in writing, make sure, whether it's email or whatever, make sure you get a voice confirmation.
Oh, absolutely,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, no, there's a form I'd like to see signed by that employee. We're small enough that I just don't want.
Yeah.
An email that comes through and it turns out not to be.
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
I can second that approach. We actually get one on a regular basis that comes in through the website.
Yep.
That says they are one of the employees, and then it says respectfully yours and the name, and I giggle, so I approached him, I said, did you send this? He's like, no, and I wouldn't sign it respectfully.
no, he would not.
So, but that's why I want a signature,
Yeah,
because that just, it's
Mhm.
CYA.
Mhm.
So maybe by the next meeting, we'll know that we can go ahead and move forward with it,
Mhm.
asking people to do
Yep.
it.
I'd
Okay.
say go ahead with it and
Go ahead with it.
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to those
roll with it.
and get forms to everybody.
I would say probably start at
the first pay in February.
Right, yeah,
That way it gives people time, those that are paper check time to adjust.
Yep. Yep.
Go from there.
yeah, I'll reach.
Make me do more paperwork.
Yeah, right.
No, I'll just take it, you don't need, there's not much paperwork.
I know.
I can give you, I will just put my account number down, it's all good.
Yeah. I know we can live.
I was thinking mine, but you know.
Oh, whatever
I know
works.
we live too.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you guys, so that just makes it a little bit cleaner and all of that.
CEO.
All right, on to CEO report. Everybody had in either in their packets or an email, in the email backup documentation, there was a CEO log.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in an email.
Yeah, it's in the-
Yep. So everybody, excuse me, everybody can kind of take a peek at that and see, where things are at, what the CEO has been up to.
I have a hard copy if you guys wanna pass it around. I also have the receipt from where he wanted to see the receipt from the plumber that said that what they did.
Yeah, I had asked for that.
Yep, so he says that's all taken care of.
Has he checked it?
I believe
Cause I
it
know he
has.
told me that it wasn't up to him to check it, it was up to the health officer.
I know that they've been working together. I
Okay.
honestly don't know. And I do know that coming up here really quick, he'll be working remotely,
Okay.
from a very warm climate.
Ugh.
That's not here. So,
Yep,
Our CEO?
yes. He's
does it
going
every year.
for it.
Oh, these are old, I'm like, what? Alright, yeah.
No,
Oops, sorry, Sean.
wonderful. All right, thank you. So, no other business, so approval of the warrants. AP warrants number 58, $9,014.30. 59, $285. 62, $18,502.19. 63, $6,211.47. 64, $1,125. 66, $3,159.56. 67, $130,697.94. Payroll warrant number 57, $6,230.56. 60, $5,555.68. 61, $6,337.25. 65, $7,490.70.
Who was right?
Second. Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor, the AP payroll warrants. Okay. Public comment.
Public comment or committee report? I don't
Up to you.
know.
Okay. Committee reports.
So,
Carol.
as you guys all know, I sent the text out Wednesday about River Road. Since I sent that, along with the pictures, the two pines that were leaning, that were creating the gap that shows in one of the pictures from the road, from the surface of the ground to what was pulling, those two trees went down about noontime that day. Andy has found 8-foot concrete barriers that will be delivered tomorrow morning, mid-morning or so. It's currently marked as a one-lane road right before the washout starts. He's put cones up, but if we get any amount of snow, the cones are useless. So we're gonna line that whole stretch with those Jersey barriers, and that's our temporary fix until we figure out where we're going from here. So
Did Rob hear back from EMA?
I have not heard from Rob today, so I do not know. I did reach out to Rob to contact Oxford County EMA and see what their suggestion was, not thinking that Oxford County EMA was going to be closed yesterday because of the observance.
That's today.
Oh, they never answered to, no, today, you're right.
Federal.
Yeah, they didn't answer the phone yesterday, so I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, that would be why he did reach out to me today.
And then they're
So,
closed today, so.
yeah. So, but we at least have to make it so someone doesn't drive into the, because there is no edge of the road, it's gone.
do we have any temporary speed limit signs, construction signs, orange signs that are 25?
I'm not sure if we do, I think it's only 25 on that road, I
Is
think,
it? Okay,
anyways.
that's fine.
Yeah, I will check though and see if there are,
Signs up. I think he has some, he said something about moving some sort of sign.
it's a one-lane road sign, yeah. We'll undoubtedly have to get DEP involved somehow to.
Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, or Army Corps of Engineers to figure out some way of stabilizing what is there, cause if the water comes up this spring, we're in a world of hurt. So it may involve either trying to work a deal and with the landowner and being able to move the road or eminent domain or something. There's enough road left now that if they hug the field, there's not an issue, but it's not something that I want to be sending, like the school bus over or a truck over on a regular basis.
Unfortunately,
So,
that road may need to be moved.
Yeah, it's,
yeah, I think
it's something that we've been discussing
Yeah.
for at least 15 years.
Well, I know, that was one of the roads that I went to go look at with Paul when I
yeah,
first.
well,
came
it's been
onto
on
it,
our
so.
hazard mitigation plan for years.
Right,
And the other thing that we're dealing with right now up there, which we didn't realize until Wednesday, is there's bank beavers, so they're not helping our cause any either. Bank beavers, yeah, they live in the
Fortunate-
riverbank.
unfortunately, water is gonna go where water wants to go.
Oh, yeah,
There's
and it
nothing we
was
need to do, we
moving.
can do about it.
And
So.
The ice has
Stopping it.
jammed up significantly more as of this morning when I talked to Andy, so much higher. So, yeah, fun stuff.
Perfect.
And because obviously it's just little old Canton dealing with this, there will be no funding available unless EMA knows of something, but we're gonna,
We could try.
yeah. We're trying to figure out what's going on, what we have available and what we can potentially tap into that isn't going to necessarily come directly out of our pockets.
Setting cost aside and pretending like that isn't an issue.
Maybe it'll just fade away.
The. That's gonna require a design moving the road. And
Yes,
there's not a design from around, as everybody knows,
Yeah.
it's got time to do these things. So we're talking a couple of years out for design.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Best case, a couple of years.
Yep.
And that's just design, not permitting, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much gonna be a temporary road. It's gonna be us negotiating with the landowner for a temporary
Yeah.
fix, I think, but.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't mean to be all doom and gloom. but-
no, but you're exactly right, and the other, and I don't even know that this is an option, and I don't know what the steps would be to proceed this way. But it is only that, no, there's 2 residents, the other one's in Peru.
There is nobody there.
He hasn't gone back
The
at all.
building, the buildings.
Right, but I didn't know if he had gone back and started building again. So where it is one resident, can we discontinue the road at the previous resident, and that is just. I don't know, I mean.
Yeah.
That's the cheaper way out.
Maybe. Because in order to discontinue a road, there's a formula that you have to use to figure out the cost that the landowner, the cost to the landowner. So, and there has to be a transfer.
It's almost an act of.
You have to
Congress.
pay money to the landowner. To the affected people on that end, I guess, yeah. So it's not a, hey, we're just gonna shut the road off. It's, there's a process you have to go through and then it's, we're gonna shut the road off and it's gonna cost us X amount to these people. Which it wouldn't be just the person that's living there because there's multiple people that own.
Yeah,
from-
property there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it would
exactly.
be all the property owners
Right.
from their own.
Right, cause now that. would
So-
be-
So that brings up an interesting point where we cross town lines
Mhm.
and it's blocked on the other end by the state. What happens to those that are in the other town? Is that,
I don't know.
right, I mean, but I'm just,
You're
it's,
better off to let Mother Nature do its deal on that road, then you negotiate with David Wayne.
if we can get to it.
He's got a nice road going the other way.
Yeah.
Yes,
with the fence.
yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like,
That's neither here nor there.
Right.
He has access to it.
yeah. But that's just what we're gonna have to deal with.
Yep.
Once we figure out what we're dealing with.
Yep, I'd say let's hopefully hear back from EMA and then we'll continue down the road of what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Or what we can do, if anything.
I'm not sure if it's Andy, you know, we hired him and Mother Nature's gone. The cocoa puffs on our roads or.
Right on his first day.
I know, or since I took over as highway liaison, it's like, ugh, one of us is a bad luck omen.
Michelle, do you have anything?
Well, Polar Express was fun.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The showing of Polar Express was fun
Mhm.
and, lighting of the tree was a success too. So both events, it would be nice for the town to continue. Diane was here to give her report as well, the planning board.
The planning board is waiting for those two ordinances to come back for legal review. But the expectation is to put an announcement in the paper before the end of February of the required public hearings and have the public hearings on March 20th. For those two ordinances, so that they could get on the warrant for the town meeting, that kind of stuff. And those are both pretty minor changes, so. Pretty easy. And they were gonna hold a public hearing for both of those prior to the normally scheduled planning board meeting on March 20th. Assuming they get back for legal review by sometime in February.
And it's quiet on the rec side, because, you know, it's winter.
No, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's cold. There's no baseball and there's no soccer, okay?
Just no joy in Mudville.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Christine?
Jim's concerned about Archie's being sold.
I had heard rumors that it was.
He,
Interesting.
his biggest concern,
Go ahead, I have info about that, so.
okay, his biggest concern is that the schedule's gonna change, pickup schedule's gonna change.
I reached out to, Melissa, they did find the contract, she's had to get a new printer scanner, so I don't have it yet, but they did find the contract, so. She said, yes, they're sold, it's basically new vehicles, someone paying the bill, not a lot is gonna change. So,
Vehicles?
Wow.
yeah, so she, I mean, and that came through all in capital letters, you know, Archie's is still Archie's. And-
I know they just had a rate increase. My last bill was up
Yeah,
$10.
that's why I asked for the contract, because I really wanted to see, make sure that we do have a signed contract. So, because Jim's the one who told me about it. So hopefully as soon as I get that in hand, that will help us, you know, plan ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're sold.
Well, new trucks, wonder if they're gonna get some new dumpsters too. Some of the ones they brought to my house are just like, barely held together.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you have any office updates you wanna give at the same time?
Sure, we have scheduled the Trio web upgrade. They call today, so we will be, next week, they gathered all the data today, next week we should have the play mode, and then Aaron and I will be taking a training with Brandon via Zoom, I believe it's the 4th. I have to look at my dates, and then, we're gonna go live on February 11th, which is a Tuesday, we figured a Tuesday would be a good day. You know, it's a little slower, and we have dedicated service specifically from one of their trainers that we don't even call a regular line, we call them. And they're extending that to us for not only Tuesday, but for Wednesday, in case it's slow and we don't have the, you know, the customers that we would normally have. But that was all scheduled today. Aaron and I both have individual web trainings for the new plates that are coming out in May on how to issue them and all the crazy details with that. The 20th is a holiday, and this Saturday from 9 to 11, we have a rabies clinic. I don't know if you-
Rabies clinic you can find
On
on
the
a
new
brand
sign?
new shining sign out front.
And that's a picture of Thud, by the way, that's an actual picture of Thud, so.
Oh, that's your dog?
That's
That's my
his
dog.
dog.
Goofy face full.
I'm sitting here on there, every time it changes from red to green to yellow to blue, like it just catches a corner.
The red does, the red can.
Well, when I, yeah,
I'll just sign it up.
Monday.
Yeah,
Okay, I went,
just a couple days.
I missed that.
Yeah, and we're having fun playing with it, getting things up there.
I like the new Wainwright thing. where-
Thank you for putting that up,
Yeah,
yes.
not a problem.
And I'll,
Emailed that in this morning.
and I'll forward you guys, if I didn't already, did I forward you the email from the person who wants to do the training for you?
I don't think we need a training for it.
Okay, well, part of it is that they give full trainings.
That was in the contact of, if we wanna do a training, there's a link.
Okay, and there's YouTube videos to watch and stuff, so I did forward that.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
it's pretty user friendly. I mean, Aaron's finding some cool little tricks and about that, so. Yeah, we've had quite a few people share the rabies clinic and call about it, so hopefully that will be a success.
Mhm.
We've talked to Eric, our new animal control officer, quite extensive, a lot. Oh gosh, Aaron, it's been a long day.
I know I've been here.
Communication with him is great. We're working, we have an open Gmail, Excel spreadsheet. So when he does something, he logs it in real time. I go in the mornings, I check it, and if once I've read it, I've initialed off on it.
Is that something we can get updated on every so often?
Yep, I can print that off. We date, like I said,
Yeah, they just email it to us and.
yeah, we talk, like I said, we talk a lot, and once the state allows ACOs to have access to our new dog site. So right now he'll have to call and say, hey, is this dog licensed?
Oh,
Once they give them, they're gonna get partial access. They'll be able to either check a name or check a tag number if they find a dog and see that, so, and that can be, so if the dog's on the Canton Peru line.
Yeah.
They have access to all the towns, so it's really gonna be a good. The program is getting better and getting easier to use. And you know, Eric's all on board, he's gonna come down and help us. As we get closer, start writing some letters to people that we know the dogs that they exist, and you gotta get them registered, so. So if you have a dog, you need it registered.
to a Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, and I am doing licensing on Saturday
Yeah,
as
no,
well,
that's-
so.
That's why I said it.
They're good for 2 years though, right? When you get
A dog license?
no,
No.
vaccine.
Yeah,
Three.
3
One or
years.
three?
Yeah.
When you come here on Saturday, they issue 3.
Yeah.
Your vet, depending on the age of
I
your
don't
dog.
think we do, but I think we need the license.
I can't think of anything.
I have a question,
Okay.
but I'll let you finish your thought first.
I don't think there's anything else. Aaron, can you think of anything else? We kind of came up with this list, so
No, we've been working on doing a bunch of cleaning out and,
projects, yeah.
yeah, but other than that, I think you've covered everything.
Are we looking at the sign to have like all of our town announcements on the sign? And versus the box that we normally have all of our announcements, like, you know, whatever, our
No.
communications, no.
I don't
So we're
think
gonna do
it
both.
can't have everything because
Okay.
it would have too much to go through.
Okay, I'm glad you answered that, because I didn't follow that. I couldn't
Yeah.
follow.
No,
Yeah.
some of our like official postings and stuff will have to go, I mean, they may end up in both places, but a lot of them are still end up in the box.
So we're gonna have two, the sign for,
And
hey,
we
look
need
at
the
me,
box.
and then.
In the
last
bulletin board,
Bulletin
Oh,
board
yeah.
sorry, box, bulletin
Yeah.
board.
box, the new box we just had built for outside.
Name charades.
With the lock on it and we hang things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of room, I mean, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So two
Yeah,
places.
simple things like, you know, hey, selectmen's meeting Thursday night or whatever, planning board meeting Thursday night, things like that, we can
Right.
put on the sign.
Office is closed, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
quick
Yeah.
things go on the sign, actual postings and stuff will still end up in the bulletin board.
Okay.
Yeah, because people flying by at 50 are only gonna catch one or two.
Yeah, you think?
That's only
50.
50.
I was gonna say
Right.
50 is slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Any other questions, comments before we go into executive session?
Yeah, I got questions.
Oh.
Have you followed up, getting hold of the town's lawyer on the lease for the farm district?
I have not, that is my fault. And I have 3 things I need to follow up with him. I will do it. I will do it this weekend. I can't do it tomorrow. I will do it this
What's his
weekend.
name?
Alex Pringle.
Oh,
Drummond and Woodson.
Yeah.
Drummond and Woodson. Portland.
They have a nice fancy building down there.
They have multiple.
Wanna,
Another question. Have we received a bill from RHR Smith for,
I haven't seen a bill.
not through email or anything?
For what?
No,
For what?
For 2024 audits, because every.
24 has not been done.
I
right,
know, but usually they pre-bill you. Everybody else I've talked to has received the bill
We've received a couple bills from RHR this year.
for 23 on it.
I'd have to look at the bills because I'm not 100% sure.
Did
off
they
the top
go
of my
to
head.
you or did they go to
they go to
her?
us.
They come into the
I'd
town
have to,
office.
I'd have to double up.
Yeah, I know we've paid a couple for RHR, but I don't. I can tell you what we've paid. I can't tell you from this what they were, but
I'm just suggesting we don't pay for a 24 audit until they're caught up on everything else.
so
Is there some-
I need to continue this discussion later this evening.
Okay,
I can't do it right now.
that's fine. Another project. Pine Grove Cemetery. I've been getting a stupid amount of complaints since July of the stumps, as you guys know.
Yeah.
I asked for 3 quotes, and I think what I'm hearing is it Kristen?
yes.
Got quotes for the same project.
Yes.
They're anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000. I went down to Easy Rental.
Yeah.
We can ride an excavator, a big excavator, and a big loader for $6,000, if you guys are interested. We can do that in town for a week, this is a week rental. We can do a town crew, go do it, or I'll go do it, but the town's gonna pay me to do it.
Where are we gonna put them?
Get the whole, there's
I think if we knuckle enough, they'll,
up by 3 lines.
Oops, sorry.
Go left. Andy and I went up and measured 500 feet from, I went up that last road.
Yeah.
Measured over 500 feet. And you're not gonna fill 500 feet of that cemetery in 500 feet. Or anything within 500 feet.
by the time you shake those out, there's not anywhere near what it looks like.
Tremendous amount, we're gonna put them 20 feet down. To be a tremendous amount of dirt and get back to bring that cemetery up. Because by the time you dig those holes, you put them so, but this is a suggestion that you should build it down. There's a lot of residents in town aren't happy with that cemetery.
Mhm. Yeah.
But that's the cheapest way out of that, doing that.
How are we funding it? How are we gonna fund it?
There we go, we're back to the unknown accounts, yeah.
Well, that would have to come out of the Pine Grove.
Yeah, it's gotta come out of Pine Grove account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
And there's money in Pine Grove account, so. That's up to you guys, I'm not the funding guy, I'm just trying to get some projects done in this town, that need to be done.
that's one that's been discussed a lot, and it always comes down to where's the money coming from, so that's. The issue that we've dealt with every time we've tried to address it.
So, our current excavator couldn't dig deep enough, correct?
Now the arm would be
Yeah.
big enough.
This is a
It could shake,
325.
it could shake the stumps, but it
Right.
would be. I mean, it could grab them with the thumb and shake the stumps, but it's not enough to dig the hole and put them 20 foot deep.
Well, that's, I mean, yeah.
No, yeah.
Hang all the stumps up on the river road.
Yeah.
Just not it, you know, that would go downstream.
That was a great idea.
Yes.
Let us know when you'd like to take that on and we'll sign you right up.
Well, this is Pine Grove, $16,000.
According to that. Yes,
Yeah,
You don't agree with that?
no, I do not.
that's your treasurer.
I understand.
Guess that's another executive session discussion.
Any other questions before I move us into executive session?
Yeah, I have one question. Sean, were you ever able to talk to, the person with the tractor trailers that was
That
parked
is
in?
Jason Long's son,
Okay.
and I had not talked to him. About where the basketball hoop is,
Mhm.
that's Jason Long's son.
I mean, right now, it's a moot point because it's winter and nobody's out there playing basketball. But when it's thawed and. I mean, it is a basketball hoop and, I don't know.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, and
I was just following up because you said that you
no,
were
that's
gonna.
good,
look
and I
into
wasn't gonna say anything if we did the Adcock thing, because those trailer trucks can't be parked there, if it's a fence put around there. So those guys will have to be out of there.
And the basketball hoops can't be used,
That's right.
so, nor will we have parking
Not
for
until
records
that's all done, so the sooner that's done,
So there's a lot of things that need to be thought of when we make that decision.
Correct.
that's why the sooner it's done, you're gonna have a parking lot back for summer sports.
There's no way it would get done before summer sports and capped over.
Well,
No way.
Okay, well,
To go through all the testing
guys,
and
guys,
everything, no
this
way.
doesn't matter right now.
All right, can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion, we go into executive session for MRSA 405,
Thank you.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor to go into executive session number one?
Number one.
Yep.
God, it seems like it took longer than that.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, yes,
Thank you.
I need to go from that.